Alrighty, daily trading recap on this Friday, the 6th of May, 2022. To Christ be the glory in every single day, every single week, every single opportunity that we have. I am extremely thankful for it. Let's go over dollar volume on the day first before we get into anything else. NASDAQ, $307 billion volume as of hour and 5 minutes after the close here. Nice see. $420 billion volume, blaze it. OTC is $2.6 billion volume there. No other equity trades for me on the day, just taking this Friday very, very cautiously and very optimistically, I want to say, to look at it, because I just was not so hard-pressed to try and trade anything. I'm definitely going to, as I'm going to try to get this monthly recap out for this past trading month of April, but definitely going to be taking more strides of stepping away from just the computers in general and in overall trading of the equity side of it, of not demoralizing myself more and more every single day of how I think I traversed that past year's summer, which was really my first kind of summer of trading. And having that experience now of going through something like that, I didn't really know or have any comprehension or firsthand experience to say, because everybody else was, and their grandma was telling me, oh yeah, summer months are terrible, there's not a lot of activity going on, blah, 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 whatever. But I couldn't confirm that for my own sake, because I had never gone through one, right? Like, I can trust in that and say, yeah, there's maybe not a lot of opportunity, but for me to just totally trust in that was defiant to, I think, who I am and who I want to be as a trader. One of my rule sets is trade what is there, not what somebody else told you is or is not there. It is not about a pattern that looks beautiful. It's not about a pattern that looks pristine or follows all these characteristics. It's about freaking making money at the end of the day. And that's what these past 2 weeks have been. It's just, I can't attest any one specific thing to the success that's been in these past 2 weeks for this month of May. But it's just like, okay, we're making money. We're following the sync of what the market is overall saying, making changes and adjustments as I feel it's been saying so, and it's been working. So I'm not going to try to attest that to any. I think there's a great amount of luck in it too, and I think that's a lot of traders' careers. It's a lot of hard work and dedication and making your own luck at times, because I don't know how these things are happening or doing, and I don't know that it's going to happen on the day, but placing myself in enough situations over and over again, and sure enough, it eventually turns into what looks like a lucky situation a lot of times in this one. So finding a lot of luck today, and the same thing for what's been happening this whole past week. Both the ES session-wide strategy and the MES session-wide strategy, I was looking for MES strategy going short for a great deal of points below wherever that open price is on the session-wide strategy at 6 o'clock from the previous trading day. And we did scalp away with the very small ES long profit that we do like to take there at that point. For that's just how I'm strategizing it during the meantime. So both of those worked pretty flawlessly even before market opened today. I'm kind of holding myself still to using an MES for the bigger downside profit target area and maintaining that until I potentially do take a loss on that one, because I do feel convicted, and potentially if the one day becomes a loss, then it's far less like, I don't know when the next losing portion of that calculated long-term play out of this trade is going to happen. So that's why I do feel convicted that when one of those days does happen, that it's more likely that it should be a winner day the following day. It is far less likely to be a consecutive losing day the second day following another loser day, versus just me kind of arbitrarily randomly picking a day to size in full with an ES contract, and then of course that becomes a losing day. I've gotten myself in that hole so many times already when I've just started playing with this future strategy in the February and the March of just diving full headfirst into it, of getting all the cobwebs out and learning and understanding how this thing works. So that's just kind of how I'm holding myself to that for the meantime. It's not legendary trader status type of thinking. I don't think anything that any trader does thinks is that, but it's just all educated guesses and putting ourselves in the right situations at the right times and being a part of enough of them to potentially see, can we make some more of that luck, and being still involved in the game to be able to do that. That is just the biggest thing in all of it, and that's why risk management is so important in everything, obviously, is to just keep playing the game, because more and more time that you do start playing that game, the better the chance you're going to have of striking it rich. 930 strategy also working out very well. Obviously had far more room than just the small 1 point profit strategy I was looking for. Got nailed within a second of market open there. Very beautiful kind of end to the day. That was everything I was looking for the automated algorithmic strategies for the day on the S&P 500 through the modalities of ES and MES there. and just got caught up again in, I do sometimes like to trade those little MES one contract trades of trying to predict anything intraday of like, hey, can we find a little double bottom here within that first, not even first, but a little bit post of the 10, 15 minutes after market open of saying, hey, are we defining any trend day moves here? Because those risk rewards on those trades can be absolutely awesome. I'm talking like the hundreds of points for risking 2 points, risking 1 point. If I can find a double bottom area and say, okay, price starts moving here, I'm just setting my stop at break even. You go do what you want to do. If you go berserk and then come all the way back down, I'm not attached to that profit and P&L whatsoever. These are just totally educated, guessy trades. But if you go and stay there in trend, similar to a day like this yesterday of just thinking I'm going short of, obviously I wasn't thinking this on this day, but of identifying an area. Okay, we rejected here at VWAP. Looks like a lot of selling pressure could potentially come in. Of course, yeah, regardless of what actually I was thinking on that day, but of like trading a trade like that, of taking one MES contract short and just letting it ride and sit for the whole rest of the market day and just not even looking at the P&L or how many points I'm up, but just saying, oh, okay, sweet. Coming back at the end of the day of the chart, we're down here this many points, not trying to pick an exact bottom, not trying to take this thing any further than what it is intraday, but just those are the type of fun trades that just add to the overall P&L and don't really, I don't feel that they waste so much mental capital for me to be a part of. They just, fun little involvement. But on days like this where it's not so obvious of any key areas, I mean, I can, of course, in hindsight look at, oh, okay, we topped here again on the underside of VWAP, maybe getting a short position there and letting it play and fade out, or, we kind of had a little fake out bottom here at this point. You played for a little, I was actually looking for a little dip, trying to buy some amount of dip potentially for maybe this position here. But then as we keep pushing more and more red candles and keep just pushing harder, that lingering thought and that little FOMO is there hitting that, pushing on all of my buttons saying, oh, you should have gotten short. You should have gotten short, especially yesterday after what happened of like, oh, you should just get short. You should just, even though it's not the best risk reward trade, you should just let it play out. You should chase it right now and just let it go because you're missing out on so many points. And the more you're talking about it and thinking about it, the more points you're missing out on, right? That's how FOMO works. So I did eventually just take a stab on it, and it was working nicely and getting me in that profit there. And then, sure enough, it came back and hit my stop to get me break even. And then another attempt just kind of randomly in this little down stretch. I'm like, gosh, it's just continuing to go. It could be another day similar to yesterday, especially with the lows that we're breaking. Could be potentially breaking with this past little day on the second there, the first trading day of May. On that one, like, gosh, this could be a harder red day. This could be a very nice, even though it's a chasey entry, could be very nice points that you're missing out on of not being a part of it. So I did take another stab at it, and then sure enough, it got me like with one MES contract and got like 3 points against me. And I just said, okay, this is stupid. This is how I get myself into trouble. That's how I had that $1,600 loss day of just trying to. It was a winning day, and then I got myself into a negative P&L, and then I tried to dig myself out of that hole by just digging deeper, and it did not work, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So I've learned my lesson of not using ES contracts in the first place for that type of trading, but also to know when to put the freaking shovel down, and this day was definitely another example of that one, especially at the end of the week when Fridays are just so choppy in itself. They have the least likely probability to be full trend days. They're just more likely, because it's a Friday at the end of the week, to be choppier, especially around that open price. For whatever that open price decides or determines itself to be there. So sure enough, it did eventually reverse back to the upside of VWAP, bring in more and more choppiness than I could ever want to be a part of. And very thankful that I defined myself that way today and handcuff myself to not touch it whatsoever and be able to put the mouse down and the keyboard down and not touch and literally close out my NinjaTrader 8 platform there to just not even be a part of it. Go away from the computer screen, go work out, do whatever else. But very thankful for that, of knowing when not to trade. Knowing when not to take trades is just so incredibly valuable. Knowing when not to lose money and just make it so much worse, because that's the little trap I fell into with this future strategy in the very beginning, right? Of that allure of, oh my gosh, it's 50 points for one, or $50 for 1 point. Like, I just need 2 points and that's $100. Like, that's an awesome little beautiful, comparing that to whatever minimum wage job or whatever I could be doing, comparing salaries. Like, that's all I need to do. I could do that like immediately. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And then sure enough, I end up $1,600 in the hole, believing that thesis and that lie. That's not the way to trade, and that's not who I want to be as a trader. And that's definitely my monthly goal too, with everything that I'm doing this month, is being the trader that I envision myself being. That's what I hold myself accountable to. That's just what the visualization is there with every single day. And that trader is not trading or touching this and is very comfortable and confident in not being a part of anything that's going on, or is led on to believe that the current market sentiment is showing that's going to bleed into more of the summer months. So I'm very fine and confident in that, of not touching any equities of any of these first little day gappers that sometimes, some ways you can see, okay, I can see and kind of pick a little double bottom there, but just is the 5% profit worth the potential headache of the amount of times that hit rate doesn't actually work on those trades for this summer months style of trading, for the current market sentiment? Those are things I have to weigh as well in that, but I'm certainly glad for the meantime and thankful that of how it's kind of worked out with this future strategy, that, hey, I'm still trading in a sense. There's still avenues to be making money, but it's not like I have to throw all of my eggs in one basket, and I'm able to diversify in a sense, but still have things going on to maybe attract my attention or appease that trading affiliation or just kind of that kick that I don't want to be living off of, but it's just feeding off of it. That's the only reason I do it. I do not want that, but of just allowing myself to be the charts and understand when the market's saying stay away, then we stay the freaking heck away. And when the market's saying you slam harder and you go, 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 that's exactly what we're going to be called to do. So, nope, not that. So that was all I had on the day. Very early and quick morning session to be done with, and taking a nice long nap to recover from lots of the early morning wake-ups this week, and going to be taking, I think, a few more minutes closer to that market open that I'm waking up, of course, on the West Coast time frame here, just to be saving myself of not trying to force anything in more charts than is actually there, or just doing more scans for no reason. And there's obviously more time to do more studying work and reading books and exposing myself to a wider horizon that way, but it doesn't have to be in the field specifically of charts. There's many different avenues to continue to learn and expand myself, and I'm excited to continue to pursue those. So that is all I had on the day. I am sincerely thankful for you guys watching, and we will catch you guys on the next one.